welcome to today's discussion. We have a very interesting topic. We're going to have a difference of opinion, clearly, but it's for the benefit of women becoming their best self. So remember to like, to subscribe, to share, and to email us at wowexpression2020 at gmail.com. Stay tuned, people.
Hey, ladies. I,
Hi.
I did that on purpose, right? I wanted to be soft and feminine. Hi. Sorry for laughing, but guys, we have been having a little discussion among ourselves, and we're like, definitely, we really need to bring this to you guys, right? Because what I have been noticing is, I mean, I basically don't really watch TV. I YouTube is my TV, right? So I've been noticing that I've been, like I clicked perhaps one time on this some feminine something or whatever, and then I've been getting a bunch of videos targeted for Black African American women. However you want to, whatever terminology you feel comfortable with, and focusing on femininity and getting rid of masculine behaviors and how not to be aggressive. And then this is the kicker for me. I happened to hear people, like I saw this in a clip about with this guy, didn't know who it was, and he was talking to this woman. I think she was maybe 31 or 32. And he was basically telling her that, she won't be able to attract a high value man because she had a kid out of wedlock and she was basically over 30, right? And then connected with that was a whole bunch of videos about being feminine and grabbing a high value man and all of that. So I was like, yeah, we definitely have to discuss this, right? Because what does it mean to be a feminine woman? What does it mean to be a feminine Black woman? What does it mean to garner a high value man? Yeah, thoughts, feelings.
I don't, me personally, you see this grabbing a high value man story. People, I find women always talk so much about having a man and having a relationship and just being them the all and end all. I personally, I just feel that you need to be yourself, self actualize, and what is for you will come to you because you are a strong woman and you know what you want and you know
Stop right there, girl. According to this new femininity movement, you can't be no strong woman. What are you talking about? No, you have to be feminine because
just to
I've,
be feminine. Yeah,
exactly.
I know what you want.
No, 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 no. You have to cater to your man. You
No, you
know?
see that word Delia cater is a true word. Let me tell you why and do not interrupt me. Because for research, this all
Wait.
no, 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 no.
What did Nelly say?
Do
Guys,
not interrupt her. You're doing
I have
exactly
been in
what she's
several
asking you to do.
relationships.
Do not interrupt her.
Right.
Lady, it's your turn.
For research purposes only, I have been in several relationships and I have gathered because they always used to call me ice queen and you're so strong and you're too independent and you're too this, that, and the other. What men always tend to feel emasculated by a strong woman. But women have to be strong because, especially Black women, because we always seem to end up being single mothers or we are the breadwinners, or even in schools, girls do better than boys. In Trinidad, and maybe in the States too, girls, but in Trinidad, even with STA, the marking scheme for boys are easier than it is for girls. And it all boils down to making men feel better about themselves so they don't feel emasculated.
okay, and that's the nonsense. That's my whole point, right? So what you're describing is that we have created a world that caters for the needs, wants, and desires of men. And that is what patriarchy is about. We have created a system, you know, where everything is about the needs of a man, the requirements of a man, and a woman has to see herself um, as that person who accommodates the needs of men. Right, Anna, what you think about that?
I was actually thinking, I think there was a shift because when I was younger, I saw my grandparents interact, and although my grandfather was the breadwinner and my grandmother was the stay at home taking care of the house, he never treated her as if what she did wasn't important. He didn't tell her or make her feel that she was this maid who only takes care of the home. There was a balance in that relationship. So for somebody now to be saying that this is how I have to behave if I want to get a man, and I have
And we
to,
know that ain't no problem.
right? So and I have to cater, as you always saying, to their needs if I want to, keep him and find my place. I mean, that's not the story at all. There's a balance. There is a balance between a man and a woman. There's a woman has her role and a man has her role, and there is balance. But anytime you're telling a woman that this is how she needs to behave to keep me, there's something wrong with that.
It
Something
definitely,
is
definitely,
definitely wrong with that.
definitely. Like I am one who believes that a person should live their life and do what makes them comfortable. We are all so different, and there are things that we do differently. Why should a woman have to constantly try to fit into a man's mold? And every man has a different need, but yet they all have this desire to have some subservient woman at home do the wifely duties while they do whatever they wish to do. Like someone was engaging me in conversation some time ago, and the person was saying that a friend of hers tried to fit into the man's ideal image of a woman. And so she was doing the cooking and the this and the that. And then they got married and she realized this is not her. So she went back to her original self and she stopped doing the wifely cooking and cleaning and whatever. And then his family were complaining and saying how she changed. She didn't change. She became aware. She was always aware, but she started to live how she preferred to. And I'm saying we should be able to live our lives the way we choose to. We
Yeah.
can't constantly, because why are we constantly trying to fit into a man's image? I mean, there men, with all due respect, they do things that need to be that way. And yet we are the one constantly trying to fit into their mold. It's insane.
You
So,
know,
but Sharon, I totally agree with you because even I know we have discussed this before, right? Where oftentimes the understood thing in society is that a woman reaches her apex when she's married and then has a baby. Oh my God, she is the ultimate in her womanhood, right? And I challenge that. I
yeah,
challenge you could be the ultimate woman without ever being married, without ever having a child, right? And it's nice. I mean, and marriage, I think something Anna said that getting married is just the beginning of the work, right?
yeah,
Because, yeah, anybody can get married, but,
yeah.
you know,
It's ironic, huh? Because when men are dating, they say they want a strong, independent woman. It is very ironic. But they can't deal with a strong, independent woman. Because I know the situation. The person is very close to me, related to me. And every time he meets anybody strong, independent, educated, working for their own money, he can't deal with it. He wants to be Captain Save a Hole. You need to be a damsel in distress for him to be attracted to you. It is
exactly.
because all men say, especially black men, is that they want a strong, independent woman, and when it happens, they can't deal with it. They
It
can't.
is the same way as a
No, what they
subservient woman.
actually Sorry, Sharon. What they're
No,
actually saying is that they want a strong, independent, educated woman who could also cook, clean, wash.
I am in.
That
Do
is
the other things. I am all about do the other things. Let me tell you, I used to have this way that this thing that I said. I'm like, my in a relationship, my I don't know what is the word is like. Don't
So,
judge me in
yeah,
my relationship based on my ability to cook, clean, and iron, right? Because I can pay someone to do that.
exactly.
You understand? Those are not the things that hold and bond us together. Our relationship supposed to be based on, am I there for you? Am I loyal? Like, can you
Are you my
depend?
person?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I give you a look or you give me a look, is like,
And you know the
exactly.
backfill, the
That
backfill.
is what a relationship is about. So this whole thing about, and one of the things that I saw is like a really feminine woman has this extensive nighttime routine. Like what? Oh yes, and the next thing, first to begin with, you can't be overweight, right? So we are, well, except Sharon and maybe needing me all right? And I'm like, when I was young, all the fat women had a big ring. Oh, they
That's
had the
enough.
biggest rocks. So it's like, what is this? You, you know what I mean? This whole thing about having to be a particular way to get this big goal of getting a high value man. And then the next thing, what the hell is a high value man?
but not
Please
only that,
tell
Julia,
me.
when you make the description that they put out there, these women who fit into their box, these same men leave them there and they still go outside. So then why not just live your life?
Mhm.
Exactly.
They're
Exactly.
gonna cheat on you, they're gonna lie to you. I was talking to one guy one time and he was saying to me, I was asking him why he was doing a particular thing that he was doing. And I said to him, well, you have a nice wife. Why do you do this? I know he said to me, to my amazement, he said, no, what I asked him specifically, I said, why do you leave so and so home and you just live your life? And he said to me, she has a car, she has her friends, and she has this and she has that. And I said, she didn't marry those things, she married you. So
Yeah.
to tell me that she has these material things, that is not what she signed up for.
Mhm.
I hear you.
So
But
their view on this whole thing is
so in his mind, because I have provided for you a house, a car, and money, that is all you should be wanting from me, and I am now free to do something else, to be with someone else,
yeah,
because you already
yes,
have what you need. Then be a Muslim man. You know what I mean? Just
it's your culture.
yeah, join the religion, and you are allowed
Oh my
3 wives
God.
as long as you could support them.
Uh-huh.
But it makes no sense. It really makes no sense because that is not what a woman. And I don't know. Maybe there are women who that's what they're interested in. But any woman who is interested in a partner to share with, what she wants is somebody that she could share with.
Yeah.
She wants somebody that she can come home to and talk with, and her partner, her friend. I'm feeling sad today. Can I borrow your shoulder? I'm feeling for a walk. I'm feeling for some ice cream. I'm feeling like telling you my deepest, darkest secrets, and expecting you not to judge me, not to, so I,
Yeah.
I suppose what we have to do, we have to redefine. So we have to ask the question, woman, when you say you want a husband, exactly what it is you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because maybe she doesn't want a husband, maybe she wants a sister wife. So
Yeah.
Delia, you and I would hook up, not sexually, we live in the same house. Somebody will do the cooking and cleaning, somebody would work, and we would have the companionship and the friendship. And you don't have to tell me, Anna, where you going, and I don't have to tell you, Delia, where you going. you know. And we'll become sister wives. I have a friend that I call sister wife. She calls me sister wife because we are there for each other without all the drama of an expectation that I expect you to do so and so. So maybe we need to redefine.
I know what you want.
Yeah. When a woman says she wants a husband, what it is she really saying she wants.
And y'all, I really think this, what we're discussing, part of it is a cultural thing because I have traveled to Europe, I've traveled to the US, I've been in the Caribbean, and I find that in the Caribbean, and maybe more black people or people of color, they tend to put a lot of emphasis on getting married and having a child. Do you know in Europe, they be glad if they get married and the last thing people thinking about is having a child. That's why the what do you call it?
The
The goes
population
down
is decreasing. Yeah,
by
population
the
growth is
population
like
increasing.
zero. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much emphasis in the Caribbean and people of color to mark your success by being married and having a child, and it's not like that in Europe. Well, in the Europe that I saw, you understand?
Right. Right.
The more
Because most couples
metropolitan
in Europe,
societies,
they
yeah,
cohabitate.
yeah, it's the more metropolitan societies. They are studying. I want to make it. I need my education. This is about me. And when you found yourself and you found yourself, you come together and you pool your resources financially, emotionally, and let's see what we're doing. The last thing people thinking about is having a child and far less two.
And
Usually,
but and that's the thing, right? But that's what I'm saying. I think this femininity movement, which actually, like I said, it's particularly targeting Black women. So, maybe because they say 70% of Black women, they're not married or have never been married. But you know, when I like the real data is how many of us are cohabitating, you know? So sometimes that doesn't really even get counted into the data. But the whole thing is that these new femininity movements, in my opinion, they are almost like a boomerang to the woman's feminist
listen,
movement,
yeah.
right? Where women have like, okay, I am just as intelligent. I don't have to pretend I don't know math anymore. I can be a scientist. I can be an engineer. I can be anything that I want, and I'm going after it. And having perhaps seen mothers who were just as intelligent, but who didn't have the ability to
The
actualize,
opportunity. The
right? And
opportunity.
they're like, no, I am going to be that woman. And it's almost like if society wants to punish you now, right? For being that woman who is intelligent, who's articulate, who knows what she wants, right? But just because I am that, it doesn't mean that I don't want a partner,
Yeah.
right? And that's exactly it. I want a partner to share my life with. So I am not when I am in school doing my degrees at between 18 to 28 or whatever, right? I'm not, in a put like the other, like what Kevin Samuels basically is pushing. So 18 to 25 is when you should be looking to attract these so-called high value men who are in their 40s and are ready for children and settling down, right? So you basically have to make a choice in those critical years of your life to decide if I want a man to take care of me or I want to pursue, whatever my dreams are. And maybe or maybe not, I may not have a man. It's like a
Yeah.
false choice.
Yeah, it is. It is. I actually feel what you said, that pointer, this femininity movement is a boomerang from the woman's lip. But you have to also remember there must be some kind of balance because remember when you go to the woman's lip, you got, remember, women had nothing. They practically had no rights. They got voting rights, they got whatever rights, but then it could be seen by this femininity movement that it became too much of an outlier. So now this femininity movement came into play, I think, to bring back some balance, but you still don't want to go to a complete outlier in the femininity movement either. You must have some level of balance to know that a woman is a nurturer. A man likes to feel like a man and not emasculated. And you see, men are very sensitive. And from the time they feel any sort
But
of being,
even needing even your language
Even
that
that's true.
women are
Yes, true.
nurturers,
Yeah.
that is not true.
It is
some
so
men, and no, Nadine,
breastfeeding. They are
Nadine, because we live in a society that has constructed this thing that this is what women are. But oftentimes, men given the opportunity to nurture can and do so even more. I have actually seen fathers. I actually looked at it because somebody pointed out to me. Fathers very rarely shout and scream at their children.
Delia, I want to tell you this. I am of the opinion that you can have a stay-at-home dad. If the woman is more educated and she's making more money, and it makes more sense for her to go out and work, but yet you also have to pull your weight by, as a man, if you decide to stay home with the kids, especially in the US where it's so expensive for childcare, you decide you're going to stay home, take them to school, comb their hair. And I see it so many times on TV, men combing their children's hair. And
Exactly, exactly. So
But you know,
I think
I am the product of a single father. My
right.
father raised three girl children on his own until me being the youngest, until I was the age of 10 years. He combed our hair, which was ridiculous. He took care of us. The only parent I knew for the first 10 years of my life was my father. And as I remember a gentleman who I lived before. He said to me one time, recognizing who I am and my family, he said, calling my dad by name, he said, "That's your dad," and so on. So he was shocked. He said to me that day, he said, if they had internet and YouTube and thing in your father's days, he said your father could have done a channel on how men should be fathers.
yes,
He said he
Uh,
learned to be a man. When he told him, because take your parents for granted. This is daddy. He does this. He provides everything, and that's just normal. But when this guy said that to me, he said he learned to be a man because he was our neighbor. He said he learned to be a man from observing my father.
that's
wow.
Clearly, men can be. We daddy will make sure and have our meals. He did everything. But by the time we get
Exactly.
up in the mornings, our meals are packed. We will go to school with our, we he did well.
Everything else, like yeah.
So
But
what
Okay,
I'm
so
but
hearing,
my lifestyle
guys,
was
you
ridiculous.
said. I have to
what I'm
interrupt.
here,
You said that you noticed that men don't shout and scream because when a man talks, because he has that bass in his voice, I have seen it with children, women, I will catch it in and they mad. A man, a father just have to talk and action stuff. But I've seen it with women too. But it has been written about that because men are more masculine, have that bass and that tone. They don't have to scream and shout like
right.
I,
I
I,
mean,
I don't think that's the reason. I disagree with that reasoning. I don't think that's the reason.
No, I see it all the time with my children.
no, I just
Yeah,
feel I have looked at it.
from different cultures, and when he talk, it's a different reaction.
No, but that is when they talk as opposed to like mommy saying, and but what I have looked at men when they're taking they have the baby in the stroller and they're interacting in the park, they tend to be more softer than women. I have noticed that.
No,
You
because they
understand?
have to make that extra effort to be to connect with their feminine side as
I
well.
have noticed that. So this is again, and then we have the cultural stereotype, where it's like, no, that's like you were saying, women are nurturers, men are nurturers too.
I know,
Men
because
are
but
nurturers
guys, what
too.
I'm hearing, what I'm hearing from you all, what you all are saying is actually, so the issue is not the man, you know. The issue is the woman who is not saying exactly what she wants,
Mhm.
and it's probably pandering to that notion that you need to save me, man. Please.
Yeah. And my
So
only value to you is to make babies.
I,
And
I think that is the message that is being sent for somebody to say this is how we need to behave for us to get a man.
yeah,
no,
Yeah.
but the thing is, what I'm seeing, you see what you said, Anna, how you need to know what you want. If it is, and Delia, you're saying is Kevin Samuels or whatever wanting to get a high quality man, is it that you are saying high quality men should only be attracted to women with little education and stuff? Because to me, I can't see a well educated woman pandering to that shit. I don't
but this
know.
is the whole thing with the Kevin Samuels, right? So he's
Yeah.
basically saying, in the US, 6 to 8% of black men make over 100K and up, which is yeah, and that makes them high value. Which to me, already you start on a notion that's ridiculous. What you own is not what you make,
Your
earn, is
value.
not your value.
It's not
You
your value.
understand? Your
Yeah.
true sense, your essence, you who you
Yeah.
are, that's your value, what you bring, and
Yeah.
not financially. Right? So
Exactly.
if you started with the precept, well, okay, a man's value to me is his financial,
But
right?
Delia, Kevin Samuels actually speaking to women who are, I think, in my mind, who talking to people who are more superficial and want to attract material things. Because in his mind, a high value man is somebody about the money, and
Exactly.
you are talking about
It's a superficiality. That is exactly the whole point. This whole all these with videos on how to be feminine and how to be that, it doesn't allow you to be your authentic self. So after a while, as Sharon was saying in her story, when your friend was like, okay, let me do this, let me do that, and then you're like, nah, this ain't who I am. And that he gonna love me for who I am, good, bad,
yeah.
and
But
different.
Delia, on the flip side, let's say you chose the path of educating yourself, your self-actualization, and becoming the woman you want to be. And later on in life, you decide you want to have a family and children. You have now put yourself in a position of power to choose whoever else you want. The man you choosing somebody of substance who can stay home with the children and lady, you go out to work, but my role, let's flip the roles here. You
Buy
don't
a
have
buy a sperm, Nadine. What you're saying is buy a sperm.
buy.
But no, no, I know. I think Nadine is saying that really you empower yourself when you give
Correct.
yourself choices,
You
when
can
you
choose
are
yourself.
educated, when between 18 to 20 years, 18 to 30, you focus on developing you. At 18 to 30, your focus shouldn't be being able to nag a high value
There's so
man.
many advances in medical research that you could have a child. I know somebody who had a child at 50.
Exactly.
Oh, I just,
Exactly. So I think this new femininity is potentially toxic. And again, there are points to it that you can use and add to your life in terms of if you feel that perhaps it's an area that you may work on in order to become your most
you
authentic
must
self. Nothing is wrong with that. So this is not like no bashing all femininity. Um, advice and that kind of thing. Because hey, I mean, a good nightly routine is good. But if you don't do it, it doesn't mean that you're less feminine.
right.
It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you.
Too much of something is never good. There must be a balance. There must be a balance. You must know what you want. You must know what you're asking for. Because from what I have seen, from those videos you told me to look at, it is a very lopsided, as you say, patriotic thing. This is what the man wants, and you must be a disowning female. No, that is his view and who his audience that he is speaking to, the persons he is speaking to, is somebody who not striving for self-actualization. Their self-actualization is to just get a powerful man to buy them, as far as I
Yeah.
can, you
Yeah.
know. And I just feel that there's so many other options, so many there's no need to concentrate on having a family and a baby. And I think in your younger years, as I said, because there's so many advances in technology, you can remain fertile to whenever you want to be. And at the end of that, you could choose to, let's say, have a partner who's equal to you, or you could choose to have a partner who's equal to you in thought, but may not have the money to do it, but you have the money to go to work, and he still has in touch with his nurturing child to look after the children, to do everything. All your shortcomings, he could pick up that, or all his shortcomings, you could complement that. It's
And that
simple.
is the point of a relationship. You
You see how I
understand?
know relationships from
And that
research?
is the balance, guys. That
Exactly.
is the balance.
That is the balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have certain things we agree on, values, that kind of thing. But we have shortcomings, we have lessons to learn, and the universe brings us together with that particular person,
Yeah,
right? So that
yeah.
we could become the very best versions of ourselves, which is basically what we advocate here at Wow Expressions. So hopefully this conversation has illuminated, have you thinking, yeah, and just like desiring to be a better version of yourself. All right. So, okay, guys, we'll see you next time. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.